Let me make sure this is not using up too much CPU. 2%.
Probably
2%.
not.
I'm still not used to that.
Yeah, exactly.
I'm used to it being like 50%. I'm not used to having like 4 cores to work with.
Should I play games on stream? Fucking no.
Darth Joseph is the first one in.
Hey, dude.
Yeah.
How you
We're
doing?
gonna start up here in a minute. I'm just giving everybody a chance to hop on in. Backyard weapons, yo.
Actually, it's Biggie Cheese. Get it right.
God, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Sup, Cody? Oh man, everybody's hopping in.
How you?
Since you guys are the first ones in,
Everybody's-
I'll just say it. I'm gonna be repeating it a couple times throughout the stream, but I am giving away a patch, little patch giveaway, incentive for watching. So it is the first link in the description. It's a Google form. Just drop your Instagram name in there, and you'll be entered to win it. I'll announce the winner at the end of the stream. If you're not here at the end of the stream and you win, don't worry about it because I'll just DM you if you win. Backyard Weapons is banned because he is actually FCC chairman, Ajit Pai. So you have to pay $4.99 a month to access this podcast. Sorry.
Oh yeah, I found out that that doesn't affect me at all.
Yeah, I'm only doing Instagram names for right now. It just makes it a lot easier. So, voice crack already. Jesus. Off to a great start. Alright. Let me kill the music. And I'm gonna drop the announcement in the Discord first. Real fast. And then we'll get this thing rocking. Alrighty. So, welcome everybody back to not the first episode, but the return of, not the Amplifier Airsoft podcast, just the AFO Airsoft podcast. It is going to be live on this channel, AFO Maryland, and the VOD is going to be posted, chopped up and edited down for bite-sized listening on Jack's channel, which is AFO Cambridge. That is our UK branch of AFO Airsoft. That is also linked in the description. So, and as for the videos that will be posted on there, Jack, if you wanna talk about that.
Yeah, we're pretty much just gonna drop sort of like a different pace to the AFO MD type of video. Josh's is quite fast paced and quite just sort of over the mulch into the combat, whereas I reckon my sort of combat, my sort of like fight style's a bit slower paced, a bit more methodical. Definitely a lot more sneaking than just running in and cutting out all the hits.
Saying that he's a better player than me, low key, but
No, I'm just saying I'm a slower player because I'm a lot more unhealthy.
All right, so we have a laundry list of topics that we want to go over, and if you guys want to drop questions in chat for us to answer in between topics, we're going to be taking some questions. So if we don't get to your question, don't worry, it's going into our Google Doc to answer in a future episode or later on. So if you ask a question and we don't answer right away, don't sweat. So yeah, let's hop right into it. Jack, one of your topics that you put in here was the ASG Storm 360 grenades, which I'm not really up on my grenades, so I'm interested as to what these are.
They're basically just a sort of new grenade that I saw. So it's an impact grenade, from what I can tell, available in different colors, and I believe you can change the shells out, like the externals. They look pretty rigid, and they do like a the tornado, or what is it,
Cyclones.
the typhoon?
Right.
Cyclones, yeah. They do the cyclone grenade thing where they just spin and spit grenades out, which is very cool. Yeah, if you want to drop the link
Yeah, for sure. This is a
to
UK link, but I will drop this in chat for anybody who wants to follow along. That is the link to what we're talking about here. So this is actually my first time looking at this. So it's a grenade. Okay, so it's multiple colors. So it comes in like bright green if you're one that likes to lose your grenades. Okay, so very similar to Cyclones,
if you just
green gas powered. 165 BB. So this is okay. So it's just the ASG equivalent of a Cyclone grenade from what I'm seeing. Backyard Weapons winner will be announced at the end of the stream. If you're not here at the end of the stream and you do win, don't sweat it. I'll just DM you via your Instagram if you win. So
I have 2 voices, do I? Why is that? Sorry, I just noticed that in the chat then.
Backyard Weapons, we will... the podcast will be slightly cut down just so it's not like an hour-long video. I won't cut out any of the content, just if there's any silence or if we're just answering some mundane chat questions, I'll just cut all the boring stuff out, you know? So we'll do that. What's a good pistol? Darth Joseph asks. If you just need like a pretty reliable sidearm, I'd go for like an Elite Force 1911 TAC. I don't usually go with... I don't have sidearms. Well, I have sidearms. I just don't usually run with them, so... Not really the best person to ask.
I'd recommend a CZ P09. Great gun. Really, really great gun. You know, it feels great in the hand and shoots pretty well. And it's relatively cheap, I think. One sec, let me pull up a link. I think they're like £100 here, which is about $120. Yeah, £100, about $120.
Ooh, Backyard Weapons. What's your opinion on replay? See, I've only been there... I've been there twice. The first time I went was okay because it was a very small day. And I went on... I believe I went on a Saturday, which is usually a really crowded day, but I just got lucky for the first time I went there, and it was pretty small. It was like right at the beginning of summer, so it was pretty hot, which I'm not really a fan of, but I don't really, you know, that's not a deal breaker for me weather-wise. So it was okay. There were some hit calling issues, which I know replay is like plagued with hit calling issues. Yeah, the staff was kind of not the friendliest staff, but I'm just used to OXCC, which has like really nice refs. It's also just really small. I'm not really a fan of how small it is. You can't really maneuver too much. If we had like a bigger CQB place that was like a warehouse size, kind of like a Tac City size, that's kind of like more my scene. But replay is just a little too small, really spawn trappy. It really brings out the toxicity in a lot of players that I've seen that go there. And when people in the Discord talk about replay, it's mostly just negative things that I hear, honestly. So I'm not really too big of a fan. I don't think I'll be going back anytime soon. So yeah, still better than TAA though, because TAA is like a plywood maze that's half the size of replay and twice as toxic. So that answers your question. Jack, if we want to move on to topic number dos. Mask types,
Yeah,
what works, what doesn't, if you want to take that. I've been talking a lot.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of mask types, really. You've got like your mesh masks and your semi-mesh masks and the ridiculous things that clip onto the side of your fast helmet that like make it impossible to cheek your weapon or to aim down sight, sorry. Dye masks, I've seen those around. I haven't had any like personal experience with those, but I've heard good things, to be honest. Yeah, what's your experience with the dye mask?
I've never actually worn a dye mask. I do want to get one. I just know they're really expensive. I know they're really nice, but the barrier to entry for me, like financially, is just too much for me to buy one. And especially for me, because I record all my gameplay, there's no really nice way to mount a helmet cam on a dye unless you go like the contour route and mount it on the side, which I'm not really a fan of. There's some YouTubers that do it that looks nice. I like the way Poi does his contours. But what I've noticed is, and I noticed this on when I used to record without a helmet cam or without a helmet mount, I would just like use the GoPro like elastic head strap, and it gives you a lot of vertical shake, which especially on a GoPro Hero 1 that has like an 8 megapixel sensor, especially when you're recording in 60, there's just a lot of when GoPro footage gets shaky, it does not look nice, and stabilizing it doesn't really work that well. So I found that using an actual like NVG mount on a helmet that's like strapped down and cinched down to your head is makes your footage look a lot nicer. So that's the main reason I'm not going to get a dye. It's just because of helmet mounting issues. But other than that, I know they're really nice. I don't have anything against people that use them. I know that's kind of like the Speed Softer MO is to wear a dye mask, but I don't know. I don't have anything against them. I think they're really nice masks, alternatives to people that don't want to get shot in the mouth and don't feel like wearing iron mesh. So yeah. Sorry,
Yeah.
I'm kind of... Let me just go scroll back up. I know Dragon Hunter said something. Dragon Hunter says, I've never played airsoft. Can you summarize what it is? So the cliche way to explain it is it's paintball with BBs. But it's really... that's a super simplistic way of putting it. It's essentially you have realistic looking guns. You have replica guns that shoot 6mm plastic BBs. It doesn't hurt as much as paintball. It is a lot cheaper than paintball overall, especially with ammo prices. If you get like starter guns are pretty cheap. I'd say they're pretty comparable to like entry level paintball guns, like I think spiders and stuff like that. It's essentially the same thing of like, here's a scenario, shoot the enemy team. So it's like that paintball wise, but it's very different. The comparison of airsoft to paintball I think is kind of stupid because they're just so different, especially if you compare like milsim to speedball, which is still airsoft and paintball, but they're just so different. Yeah, I don't know, I'm rambling.
Yeah, I heard somebody describe it as like just basically middle-aged men running around a forest with toys, which I thought was quite funny because it's when you take a step back and you look at like the kind of people that do play the game, you do get quite a heavy mix. So there's you get some young, some old. Like I've been playing games with like 50-year-olds all the way down to 12-year-olds like on the same field at the same time. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
It's a strange analogy, but it's an accurate
Yeah, and as far as like paintball is inherently a lot more competitive than airsoft is. You don't have a lot of airsoft tournaments like you would see paintball tournaments, just because, and it's mostly because airsoft is an honor sport, if you want to call it a sport. I know a lot of people get triggered if you call it a sport. It's an honor game as opposed to paintball, where there's physical evidence of you getting hit and there's physical evidence if you cheat. That's the main reason with like airsoft tournaments that have like cash prizes, is like when there's money involved, people are more inclined to cheat. That's just natural how that works. So the only competitive scene in airsoft right now is like I think G&G has like the actual like target shooting competitions, which it's an interesting take on competitive airsoft. I don't think that's really I don't think that's gonna really stick around though. I personally don't find it as interesting as like actual like competitive CQB.
There is an actual CQB competition. I'm not too sure.
Yeah, I know there's some out there. There's like local ones, but there's no like natural ones or national ones like like 5-star and stuff that paintball holds. Paintball is just inherently a lot more competitive, and that's why the barrier to entry for new players in paintball is a lot higher than airsoft. Like airsoft, you can just jump in, go to a walk-on, and like have fun and not really care if you win or lose. But paintball, it's just inherently a lot more competitive. Dragon Hunter BB's. Sorry, Jack, you can take that if you want.
Some do, some don't. It honestly just depends on like how close you are to the person shooting, or in my case, how crouched you are over the grenade.
Yeah. BB's like, if you get like, okay, if you're playing CQB and you get like a point blank shot, you'll have some bleeders that like sting. I don't think it ever exceeds like the feeling of a bee sting unless you get shot in like really shitty spots like a knuckle or an earlobe. Those really hurt. But
Oh
then
yeah.
just, just wear the proper
Yeah, I've got
protection. Like you don't even need to, getting shot while you're wearing a t-shirt is a lot it hurts a lot less than getting shot bare skin. When in paintball it's more of like you get bruised, not like a little sting. So I don't know. They both like hurt, quote unquote, but you kind of get used to it after a while.
Yeah. So back to the masks.
Oh yeah, that's not a bad segue, honestly.
Yeah. Like I've seen people get shot in like cheeks, and you can tell it doesn't really hurt, but it just looks really shitty because it looks like a massive pimple on their face.
Yeah.
I've seen people like get teeth shot out, which is really not a fun
Yeah,
sight.
that's another thing. Definitely wear lower face pro. I get that like some people don't like wearing it because it's just like more stuff on your face, and especially people that go for like impressionist kits don't want to wear something on their face. But at least wear a mouth guard. Like
Yeah.
mouth guards are nice. I
Good.
know they can get a little annoying, but for anybody that's like played sports, if you're used to a mouth guard, that's a good alternative if you just don't want to get teeth shot out and you don't care about getting shot in the lower face.
Yeah. Mouth guards are good for teeth, but not for lips. They can still mess your lips up.
Yeah.
But like, I understand not wearing a lower face protection, like for a milsim or something, because the engagement distances aren't as severe as in a skirmish. But I don't see any reason why you would wear anything less than like a mesh mask, or even just like a scarf with a piece of mesh over your teeth.
Yeah.
Just for skirmishes. Also, don't do what I did when I started and buy one of the neoprene masks. They count as face protection, but they are like just as good as you would expect a piece of cloth to be good to be.
So I have like a kind of like a counterpoint, I guess. I still wouldn't recommend it if you want to like keep your teeth intact, but I used to wear just like and I still do sometimes. I had a close call where I kind of wear iron mesh now mostly. But sometimes I'll wear just like a neoprene like face mask, like a Condor like recon wrap. So they're not like super thin neoprene, they're a little bit thicker. But I've taken some tooth shots and like the neoprene kind of slows the BB down enough to where like it'll still hurt your tooth, but it's not like fast enough to chip it. But yeah.
Yeah.
Hold on.
I had one.
I'm back. Sorry.
It just like it was like the shock of it. It's like the only time that I've ever like turned around and just dropped a gun. Just no, the pin doesn't make it stop.
How do you get Tokyo Marui in America? I'm pretty sure you can just buy it through Evike. I'm pretty sure Evike sells Tokyo Marui.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure they do.
Yeah, you can buy TM stuff through like pretty much any major retailer. How do you find an airsoft match near me? What was the website called? Is it? Shit, hold on. I gotta.
In the UK, we have something called. In the UK, we have something called Airsoft Nation that basically groups everything together. So you can find shops, sites, like outdoor arenas, indoor arenas, urban arenas, and it'll just like put them into big bubbles, and you can just zoom in on them and see where they are.
If you're in the US, Airsoft C3 is a really nice website where you can find any pro shops near you, any fields near you, teams, milsim organizers, anything like that. So it's a really nice like aggregate of pretty much every field in the US, except for like some private ones. But that's a really nice website.
So let's crack out one of the questions.
Oh yeah, sure.
Where do you see yourself in 5 or
Where do you
10
see
years?
airsoft in 5 years? Not yourself. It's not an interview question.
Hey, maybe I wanted it to be an
What
interview
job
question.
interview?
Shut up. Where do you where do you see yourself in 5 years? Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife. Don't say doing your wife.
Where do you see airsoft in 5 years? I see pretty much. Okay, we're kind of already seeing it. Assuming that there's no legislation passed that will hinder airsoft in the next 5 years, I'd like to say I see it growing, but at least at my local field, I'm kind of seeing it plateau a little bit. Where like in the last like 2 years ago, it was growing at a pretty substantial rate. Where it would be like 60 people one week, 80 the next week, 100 the next week, and it was just kind of growing and growing. Now I've kind of seeing it plateau, where like it's just the regulars that keep on coming back, and not too many new players. I'm not saying that airsoft is shrinking at all. I don't think it will, mostly because it's just the barrier to entry is just so low, where like you can get like a starter kit from a retailer pretty cheap, and you can get like a decent like combat machine for under $200. So yeah, so I don't see it shrinking. As far as like the technology in guns, I can see it, I think in 5 years, if a gun doesn't have a MOSFET in it, I don't think any gun by a major retailer will not have a MOSFET within 2 years. Because we're already seeing that in, honestly, really low level and mid-tier guns. Like, combat machines are now having the G&G, like, version 3 MOSFETs, which in my opinion are shit, but it's still a MOSFET. Yeah, I don't know. I'm rambling again, but...
I reckon I'm sort of seeing it like go more urban, because people are definitely in the UK. People are getting less interested in outdoor because it's cold all the time, and I'm honestly not too sure about the whole CQB like system, not system, community, because I'm not a CQB player. Yeah, I reckon it's going to sort of jumble into one in the UK at least, because then you get the convenience of both.
Yeah,
both
I can
worlds.
definitely see the CQB. I can definitely see CQB and Speed QB growing, mostly because it's a lot easier to set up a CQB field than an outdoor field. Because an outdoor field, you need a lot of space, you need set pieces, you need groundskeepers, stuff like that, and it's a lot more of like a bigger business endeavor than renting out a warehouse, buying like a truckload of pallets and some barrels, And it's really just like the insurance cost is the biggest cost for airsoft fields. And again, with legislation, we'll see if that if that affects anything in the future. But I don't see airsoft going anywhere, honestly, anywhere but up at least.
Yeah,
that's just me being optimistic, but I hope.
So yeah, I reckon it's in a pretty good place right now. It can only go up. There isn't any major like conflict. I think the last major like drama that went on was the whole speed loader thing. The Odin Balkan thing.
Yeah, and that wasn't even really a big deal though. That's just
Exactly,
just anybody who's into airsoft trying to hang on to any bit of drama that comes up in the industry, because there's just so little of it, And while it was a big deal, and it is a big deal, like and as far as like patents and stuff go, yeah, I don't know. I think that was kind of blown out of proportion, and I think that comes down to all the YouTube airsoft content creators that just need anything for views. Like, name one major airsoft YouTuber that didn't make a video about it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
So yeah, but that's airsoft in the future. I think that the tech's gonna get better. MOSFETs are gonna be the norm, as if they aren't already. I don't know. I hope some people come up with. I know. God, there's like the one paintball mask. I think it's Empire that's making the paintball mask with like the built-in HUD and like the Bluetooth connectivity and stuff. So it'll be cool to see where like some IoT innovations in airsoft. I think that'll be cool to see. All right, so questions from chat. Darth Joseph, should I make any internal mods to my G&G Firehawk? Besides, like, well, see, the Firehawk has, I'm pretty sure the Firehawk has the version 3 MOSFET in it. I could be wrong. I'm not too up on my Firehawks or any G&G guns that aren't like the CM16s or the CM16 the SRs. But if it already has a MOSFET in it, and I know G&G has the G&G green buckings, which, like, if you wanted to replace that with a maple leaf, I guess you could, and then you could replace the barrel. But other than that, I wouldn't really recommend making any other changes to it. And that's coming from somebody that doesn't do too much, like, internal teching. So I just know if, like, oh shit,
motor?
Hey, what's up?
Did you already suggest?
You're cutting in and out. Can't really.
Did you suggest upgrading the
Oh
motor?
yeah, that's another thing. Yeah, you can always upgrade the motor. I know the G&G stock motors are
Because
kind
I
of
know
shit,
sometimes
yeah.
G&G aren't typically the best motors, but like if I would upgrade anything from the Firehawk, it'd probably be the barrel, like the inner barrel, and then the motor.
Yep. All right. Okay, let's move on to topic 3. Jack, this is yours. So if you wanted to take the reins on this one, storage ideas for guns and gear.
Yeah, it was just it was more of a question to the chat, I suppose. Like, sort of, what is a good idea, what isn't a good idea. Like myself, I have a small gun rack for my my 4 rifles, and currently nowhere for my pistols. I really need somewhere for those. But yeah, I made mine because it was just a bit more convenient for me. So I was just wondering if you can trust like the Amazon gun racks you can get, because I know they do sell quite a few. But I was gonna buy one, but I wasn't too sure if it was worth it.
Yeah, I know I've always wanted to like build my own gun rack or have like a gun wall. I know that like pegboard's pretty easy to come by, and that's pretty cheap. So I don't know. I just keep my stuff in like my gun cases, just like in a drawer in my garage. So
I just sit it out in my case because it's already padded and it's nice, just a nice place to put it.
All right.
Yeah, I'm a show, so I have a gun rack.
Ooh, I do want to move on to topic 4, UK airsoft laws.
Ooh,
because this is kind of like your domain.
Yeah,
I know very little. I only know about like what you've talked about.
This is generally more just sort of like if people are interested, really. Because I know a lot of people like want to know about the sport and want to know how it does like around the world, and I know a lot of people just sort of want to just play the sport and just deal with it and play however they want. Darth Joseph, you're in the UK. Yeah, so when you're purchasing an airsoft gun, if you are not, I think it's 18, you have to get it two-toned. Well, no, if you're 18, you can't buy one. It doesn't matter. But you need to have a UCARA, which is a United Kingdom A something NA RA, sorry. But it essentially means that if you don't have a license for it, you have to get the gun two-toned, and that means that it has to either be bright orange or bright red, green, blue, anything that the government defines as a non-militaristic color, and that can be gold. Gold is classed as a militaristic color for some bloody reason. But
Because
if you have a yeah, of course. Oh look, there's a 12-year-old warlord with a golden Dan Wesson. Yeah, if you have a valid defense, which is either the UCARA or you're a filmmaker or part of a reenactment group, you basically can't buy what they call an RIF, which is a real imitation firearm. So unless you are a filmmaker or you have a UCARA, or or you have some other kind of valid defense, you're in a union, part of the British Airsoft Club, or part of a reenactment group, then you can't, join anything, or you can't get a gun. If you, however, where is it? Yeah, there it is. So to get the UCAR, you need to basically play. Yeah, there it is. The United Kingdom Airsoft Retailers Association. If you want to get that license, you need to play. You basically get like a little card thing. You need to get it signed off a certain amount of times each month. I think you have to play 3 times a month minimum, which it's quite an incentive to play at least.
Mm-hmm. How do they enforce that? How do they enforce how long you play?
Basically, if you get caught at the end of a month with 2 plays on that card, what they'll do is they'll either seize your guns until you can get them signed off by the field owner that you play at, or you pay a fine, one of the two. But it's the entire law is basically just to reduce the amount of kids being shot, because I know that ages and ages ago, like 10 years ago, there was a kid that had a real imitation firearm. It was an airsoft gun, and he went out on the street with it, and he had the armed response unit called on him. So this like 10-year-old just gets swarmed by like SWAT guys, all with rifles pointed at him, and obviously he has a great time and meets new draws. Yeah, it's just another way of protecting against police time being wasted or criminal damage. Like if you were to take an illegal weapon or an illegal airsoft gun and supposed to shoot it into my next door neighbor's garden and like, I don't know, damage a window or just some of their property, I can have my gun seized. So I have one gun right now that is black and red, but because the red isn't 51% of the weapon, if I was to damage someone else's property with it, it would be illegal. It would be seized and I would have to pay a fine. You need to have your gun covered up at all times if you're moving it from like A to B.
Right. Yeah, that's pretty much what you have.
Yeah, that's pretty much it. So yeah, that's pretty much the law. It's just to protect against civilians and police time being wasted.
Okay, so guns we'd like to see in airsoft that don't currently exist.
MPX.
Yep.
MPX. Everyone wants an MPX.
I want an MPX so bad.
It just looks so good.
Hey, yo, Josh,
Like-
can I get that?
Can you get a what?
Like the list.
Oh yeah, sure.
Ooh, yeah.
I think this. Here we go.
There's a MPC, isn't there, or an MCP or something? What is it? Or CPX?
Like what type
Just-
of gun?
It's an airsoft gun. It was made a while ago, but
Sweet.
yeah, it's just a. It's like an MPX, but it's not the gun everybody wanted. I'm trying to figure MCP, MCPX. That's what it is.
What are the laws in the U.S. about airsoft? Okay, so U.S. laws are pretty relaxed compared to UK laws. The basic ones that actually affect you that you need to know about are never brandish it in public. A lot of it's common sense stuff. It's like never brandish it in public. Only take it out if you're on like your private property and nobody else can see it and get spooked by it. Pretty much only use them on your private property or at a sanctioned field, or else you can get in trouble. Like if you go into like a public park and play airsoft with your friends, like that's not okay. Like it's just common sense shit. But as far as we don't have any two-tone laws in America. The orange tip law only applies like when at like the point of sale. So like when you buy a gun, it will come with an orange tip, but it is not illegal for you to take off the orange tip after it's yours, unless you're in a state like New York and California that have like kind of more specific airsoft laws where you have to have like neon colored tape on like some parts of the gun, like either the barrel, the stock, the trigger guard, or the pistol grip. I'm not really up on the specifics of those laws just because I'm not in those states, but some states there are different laws than others. I know New Jersey has like some stricter airsoft laws also. But yeah, in a majority of the U.S., the laws are pretty much just like, don't scare people with them.
Yeah. And don't be like, hey, is it a real gun? Just don't be stupid. Pretty much the laws. What does a MOSFET really do?
It essentially, well, it's, you know, it protects your trigger contacts, right? That's pretty much what all it does.
Yeah, it protects your trigger contacts and like can be like certain MOSFETs can be programmable.
Right, yeah.
So it'll also like shut off, like will stop you from using your battery if it gets to a certain like, you know, like voltage. It protects your battery.
Mm-hmm.
Program burst mode stuff.
Yeah. I'm in Maryland, Dragon Hunter. Jack is in the UK. So, you know. And if you hop in the Discord, there's like people from all over. So.
Possible paint jobs for guns /
I'll take
gear.
this one.
Yep, this one's yours, Josh.
If you want to go like okay, I'll start with like realistic stuff. Like, I'm personally not a fan of people doing like camo paint jobs themselves. I always think they look really tacky because a lot of them aren't done like that well. Some of them are really nice. Like some of the snakeskin ones I've seen are actually really nice. But if you want to get like the creative side of things, where like you're trying to imitate like CS:GO skins or Rainbow Six skins, I mean, you can't really go wrong. I mean, in the eyes of some of the elitists, you can definitely go wrong. But I don't know. Pretty much any like video game weapon skin can be turned into an airsoft skin pretty easily.
Discord link should be.
Yeah, Discord link is in the description.
Fourth one down.
Got you.
Yeah, I've been doing a lot of like I do a lot of hydro dipping for my skins just because that's like a fun way to. That's a fun, somewhat easy way to like have really complex designs on your guns. There's some really cool ones that are like, if you want to do like complex camo patterns, hydro dipping is a good way to go for that. Just make sure you get the quality.
Still need to do that holographic carbon.
Oh yeah, yep.
Yo, I'm gonna ship you my ARP if you do that.
Paint your firehawk hot pink. Yep.
Do it. Yeah. I think my local shop sells like hot pink vests and helmets and masks and gloves. They just sell as much stuff as they can in hot pink. It's great.
So, question, actually, going back to the UK laws, you said it has to be 50-50?
I assume it can be more than 50% also, right?
Or both, so like, so you can like make your airsoft gun like entirely like pink if you wanted to, and it would be fine, right?
Sorry, I completely zoned out on my question.
Your gun doesn't have to be exactly 50-50, right? Like you could have like a ridiculous paint job.
No,
it would be fine.
The law is that 51% of your gun has to be a non-military color. I do not know how they gauge it. I think they just measure the something per square inch. Yeah, the paint per square inch.
Like my paint jobs would be allowed at your fields, right?
Okay, that's what I was
yeah, because they look like
they
look like somebody has designed them for a video game or something, you know.
Yeah. All right.
Also, nice carrot gameplay.
That's my Spencer. So I do kind of segueing off of that. I want to so your thoughts on using red in loadouts and paint jobs, and if that affects. If I know some fields don't allow it, and some fields some of like the regulars at fields frown upon it. Want to know your guys' thoughts, because I personally run a red and black loadout, and I've been accused of looking like a dead rag before, even though the only parts of my loadout that are red are like a wire that runs through my vest and my gun. So I don't know.
We don't really have a.
Red's like kept to like not so it's a huge patch of red. Like I think it
Right. Yeah, I agree with you
because
there.
like if it's like a little bit like highlights of red and whatever, I'm fine with
Mhm.
that. I don't give a shit. Or, like if it starts to get like a big spot of red where it could look like a dead rag, then that's when I'm
Yeah.
gonna say that it shouldn't.
Like, I feel like the stuff that should obviously not be allowed, or like shouldn't, that field shouldn't allow, is like neon green hoodies and red hoodies. Any like clothing that is red or like neon green, where like you could be mistaken for a ref. I feel like that stuff should just not be allowed. So
Yeah. I don't really see much use of dead rags.
no,
to be
me
honest.
either. I feel it technically
Yeah.
requires you to have a dead rag,
And-
but nobody uses them unless you're like walking
Yeah,
through
like-
to like go back to like staging or something. But like if you're just getting shot, like, just put your hand up and walk away.
Yeah. I've only ever seen people with dead rags, like they just drop them on their head and leave them there. So basically, don't just don't run a red helmet,
Yeah.
then you're safe.
Like I know fields like Balahak, it's required just because they have like medic rules and stuff like that makes sense for stuff like that. But like my field, for example, there's no we never do medic rules, just because the fields that we play on are so small and the games are so fast paced that it's like just walk back to respawn.
And when like shit like that, like I feel like it'd be fun to wear more red at fields that don't require you to have, a dead rag or don't require you to use a dead rag, because
I'd like so going off of what Airsofting Turtle said, like we said before, like I played at OXCC against like some kid that wore like a neon green like Nike hoodie that was like the exact color of like the refs like jerseys, and that was a pain in the ass. He didn't get yelled at for it, and he wasn't told to like take it off or anything, but like the whole day I was just like, I see his elbow poking around a corner, I'm like, is that a ref or not? And then that's like some valuable seconds. So not really a fan of that. I feel like fields should crack down on that a little more, but for obvious infractions like wearing a red hoodie and shit.
Yeah.
All right.
So take a question.
Okay. Let's take a question.
Should 20mm shower launchers be banned in smaller CQB fields? Do you want to take this one, guys?
I just wanted to touch on this because I know that
Yes.
John had a recent incident with this where he got blind fired in the
I'm gonna
top
say
of the head
yes.
with one. And I would say yes for super small CQB fields like replay, where your maximum engagement like from spawn to spawn is 25 feet. Like that's literally like corner to corner. That is the furthest engagement you can have at that field. So I don't think a 20mm shell, the shower ones, that is just overkill. It'll be hard for you to use that and not piss somebody off. And if that's the case for anything, I think that shouldn't be allowed.
it's like when you're at Balahak, what the guy said with the 20mm. Says you have a 30-foot MED
Right.
on that shit, because no one gets to be blasted with 100 pellets in the throat, close range.
Exactly.
It's just unnecessary for close range. Like if you're that close, you can just shoot them with your gun. You don't have to use a 20mm.
And on top of that, the one that John got shot with was like one of the like the standalone ones, like the pistol, like the 20mm pistol, which is like even worse in my opinion.
Oh god.
Like, it's so ridiculous.
Oh god, that's deliberate. That's
and replay is already one of those fields where it's like they don't really care about safety too much, because their engagement distance, or not their engagement, their FPS rules are 350 with a 2.5, which is essentially just outdoor CQB limits or outdoor limits.
God,
it's ridiculous.
That's
I got
field
two. I got 2 bleeders like the one time I went there. It was terrible. And on top of that, you have people with HPA that like already aren't calling their hits and cranking their shit up. So it's a little ridiculous. I'm not really. That's why I don't really plan on going back there anytime soon. But oh my god, how many times do I have to ban this account from chat? Jesus
It's
Christ.
a different
It's like the
account.
4th one.
Yeah,
Who are these
I
guys?
don't
Like, what
know.
the
This is
hell?
some spam.
I think. Yeah,
How is
probably.
sniping in airsoft? Sniping. Okay,
That's actually one of the
Never tried it.
questions.
so we can kind of cross that one off.
We
Sniping is, it's a lot less fun than the popular airsofters make it seem. I think I'll put it that way. I think that's a good way to put it.
yeah,
And it forces
definitely.
a lot of beginners to think that airsoft sniping is like you're gonna get 30 kills your first game, and that's just not the case.
Yeah,
Um,
it's like you get 30 kills your first day,
oh, dude,
if
oh,
that.
come on, no.
Probably like your first, well, like I want to say like week worth of airsofting.
And I was one
Probably.
of those people where like my second airsoft gun was a sniper because I saw like Novrich videos and shit, and I thought I was gonna be that good, and snipers are just that good. But his is like, he's put hundreds and hundreds of dollars in upgrades in that thing, and this was before the SSG was even a thing. This was back when he was still using his VSR, I think. He was using VSR 10, right? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I bought like a cheap $100 sniper, and I didn't do anything to it, and I was just like, I just thought I was bad, but it was really just this shitty gun, and it's just not fun because you're like, what you don't see in the Novrich videos is the 10 minutes of him sneaking to a spot and then sitting there for another 10 minutes, and then the game ends, and then he didn't get any kills, so he just dumps that footage. It's like you got to use
Yeah.
you got to use better judgment when deciding what to use.
A lot of the sniping videos you see are people who play every single weekend from sun up to sundown.
Right, and then
it's just-
after 12 hours of gameplay, he gets 5 minutes of footage. Yeah.
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 And then
Bit
snipers,
ridiculous.
you just get.
And I've personally,
No, go
Sorry?
ahead. I interrupted you.
I was saying I've personally never played with a sniper before, and like, I've shot a couple of them.
Mhm.
Like I can see the appeal behind it. It's just one of those things where I feel you can get a lot more performance, a lot more, gameplay out of an AEG that's completely upgraded. Like, you can get so many more follow-up shots. You can get so much more. Like, you can get the same accuracy and range as a sniper that you get with an AEG. Like,
Plus, you're limited. You're
it's
limited
really-
to MEDs with snipers, which like.
yeah,
and it's-
exactly. You get a good hop up, you get a good barrel, you get a good bucking, and you get a decent spring, and you have the same range and accuracy as a sniper with lower FPS, with 0 MED,
Mhm.
with insane follow-up shot percentage. So, because I know a lot of places, like with DMRs, you have like a 1 second time between shots. So it's just, I always say go the route of AEG.
Yeah, and
if
I
you
would
get
say
the
like,
chance.
if you have the money for it, I would get an AEG, and then if you want to, if you like have the money burning a hole in your pocket, buy a sniper, because it's like a fun change of pace to like snipe for a bit. You know what I mean? Like that's not I don't think sniping's a bad thing. I just think that a lot of new players will jump right into sniping thinking that they're going to be Novrich level of of a player.
Yeah, and it's just sniping's just a different play style. It's just it's harder to get into sniping than it is to run with an AEG.
Right.
It's like I kind of want to start trying to snipe a little bit, but it's just one of those things where it's
yeah.
It is just down to like personal preference or
Mhm.
something.
And there's some
Yeah,
there's some
absolutely.
people that's what they want to do is just sit in the back and snipe, and they don't really want to like rush up and get in people's faces and like use AEGs like that. And that's like you said, it's just comes down to your personal preference and play style. But just don't, if you're a new player, don't go into airsoft buying a sniper stock and thinking that you're gonna get a Novrich level of like gameplay.
Yeah.
So as long as you go in knowing that you're not gonna
not
get that, I don't see the problem with sniping. I just think a lot of people go in with that misconception, and that's what kind of makes it. Yeah. Okay. Okay. We go into next topic: best gear for starter players.
Comment
Yep.
machine.
There you go.
Comment machine.
Everybody
Yeah.
then asks, what should my first gun be? I've never played airsoft before. First, it's a
Comment
trick
machine.
question because go to a field and rent once
Yeah,
to make
rent
sure
it
that you
first.
even like it
Rent.
before you
Yeah.
drop $150 on a gun that might just collect dust in your closet.
Mm.
So before you drop any money, make sure you like it. There's too many people, especially people that have been in the server that refuse, who shall not be named, but we know who we're talking about, that refuse to take any advice from anybody and just want to spend $600 on an HPA setup when they've never gone to a sanctioned field before, and they're just plinking in the backyard. It's ridiculous.
Man, get this,
Joey.
get this. But what about this handguard?
What?
Which handguard?
Just
Oh,
Joey
yeah,
saying
yeah,
like
exactly.
talking
It's like,
about
guys,
the
I'm
rail
gonna
system
build
and
this
shit.
gun from scratch, and it's gonna cost me $300 instead of just buying an actual gun. That's ridiculous.
That costs like
Um,
$150.
yeah, and you should really use that day that you used of like rented gear to figure out what kind of role you play. So if you're
Right.
a bit slower if you're slower paced, then you want to eventually you'll build up like a heavier kind of gear set. So like a plate carrier and possibly like some form of belt like
Support
weight.
weapon or something.
Yeah, possibly a support weapon. Running high caps and stuff. If you're a more fast-paced player, you want to run like a very light gear, so probably some webbing and
Like maybe chest rig or something. Yeah.
Yeah,
Shit,
but
just throw mags
like
in
a
your
light
pockets.
chest rig.
I feel like a lot of people
JPC.
don't. A lot of
Yeah.
people are against just like not running anything and just putting a mag in your pocket, but like that's not there's no wrong way to play. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, there's no wrong way to play. There's just generalizations. I actually used to run an old like Russian gas mask bag.
Oh, that's cool.
Like you had the carry case that this like Russian gas mask came in, and I used to run that. I just used to drop like a bag of ammo in there and 2 high caps, and that's what I ran. But you want to buy your face protection first, definitely.
Sorry for typing.
Once you've got your face protection, get your
Don't
gun.
skimp on face
Yep.
protection. For the love of
Do not.
God, do not
Yeah.
go cheap
Make
on
sure
face
your goggles
protection.
are ANSI rated. For fuck's sake.
Get
Yeah.
you can replace other things. You can't replace
Yet.
your eyes. Like if you're gonna spend
Yeah.
like a bunch of money, buy good face protection. Can't stress that enough.
Hard
Like-
Try Innovations.
Lower face protection, stuff like that, like whole face protection, like
There's no shame in a paintball mask.
Shit, sometimes
There's
I'll
no
wear a
shame in a paintball mask.
paintball mask. It's like it's good protection. It will protect your face. You will not get hurt wearing a paintball mask. I promise you. Like your hands and shit getting hurt, like gloves, like that's whatever. Your face, you cannot replace the things in your face. Do not
Yeah,
skip.
I'd say like bottom of the barrel. Like if you want goggles that are really cheap and work really well, I personally use the Pyramex iForce goggles. But make sure there's like so there's like 2 different versions because I got mine on Amazon. There's a version that is ANSI rated, and there's a version that isn't, and they have like 10 different styles
Get the ANSI
for
rated
each one. So just make sure the one that you're getting is ANSI rated, because I've had I've had one shatter on
Another
me.
side note to that. Get the dual pane ones.
Yeah, definitely make sure you get like anything that says like thermal lenses or dual pane lenses, because that will stop your fogging a lot.
I wore normal single pane Pyramex glasses that are ANSI rated, and they fog up terribly.
Yeah.
We get dual pane.
Yeah. I know I had like I know that some other popular goggles are like the big Lancer tactical ones that are just like the solid pane. Those are okay. I know they're just like they're really cheap. I'm pretty sure they're ANSI rated. I would be surprised if they weren't, especially coming from an airsoft company. But
Oakley M frames are pretty good too.
yeah, Oakley M frames are nice. A little more
They're just not
expensive.
full
Yeah, so you have to get the Hilo kit for those. Yeah.
But they're good.
Yeah, those are a little bit more on the pricey side, but yeah.
Yeah, those on the pricier side,
But they're
but
Oakley,
again, like
yeah.
that's something I'm gonna be working up towards because that's good eye protection, and it's like literally just like sunglasses.
Yeah. Make sure you get some anti-fog too. Relatively cheap. Like get the new Neutral
Yeah.
stuff. Don't get any like the Walmart snake oil. You know what I mean?
I've got some Bolly stuff. It's pretty good. I sprayed it on my goggles once and haven't fogged up since, and that was 3 months ago. So not bad. Yeah. So now lower face protection. We already mentioned it.
Mesh mask.
Cover that shit up. Cover that shit up.
Even if you're wearing like a neoprene mask or like a shamag or something, just
It'll
cover your teeth up.
it'll still hurt if you get shot
Bare
there, but you'll
minimum,
keep your
just like
teeth
put a
at
rubber
least.
mouth guard in. Like I feel like a lot of people don't
Mm.
do that,
Yeah.
and I can't really imagine why. Like, because the main thing on your lower face that you want to protect is your teeth. Like, who cares if you get shot in the cheek or the nose?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But like,
Like I could take a hole in my mouth. Like I could take a hole in my cheek. I don't give a shit. Like that'll heal. Teeth don't heal. I'm worried about the stuff that will not come back.
yeah,
It's expensive.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hands as well.
yeah. I feel like as long
I
as you
like
wear
to
like
cover my hands.
mechanic shooting gloves are nice because they're pretty breathable. You don't really have like a lot of hard plastic or rubber that are like hindering your fingers, and they'll
Yeah.
knuckle shot
Another
hurt. But
tip that I have, if you buy full gloves, you can cut off the fingertips of like your index finger and your thumb. So like you can still have the dexterity of your fingers, but still have like most of your finger protected.
Yeah.
Just my 2 cents.
Yeah. Like I used to run a set of mechanics fast fits. They're pretty good. They stop you getting shot, but I do recommend something with like rubber padding on the back because
Yeah.
although it's nice to have your hands covered, it's even better to have your hands protected.
I'll
You
say
know.
another thing that
Because getting shot in the hand sucks.
I will say another thing is
It
I know
really
it's a little bit like bulkier and kind of more annoying, but the iron mesh masks that also cover your ears are really nice. Just any kind of ear protection is nice. Like even if you want to splurge and get like some Howard Lights, some like electronic ear pro, it's definitely worth like the $40 than taking a shot. Like I started wearing ear pro now because I saw one dude at my field get a BB lodged in his ear, and that kind of like scared me. And I've taken earlobe shots, like I've taken earring shots before, and they're terrible.
Oh yeah.
They
Yeah,
suck.
like getting a free ear piercing.
Mhm.
I don't think they hurt as much as getting shot in the knuckles there, like of your fingers. That's
Yeah, there's just some shots that suck really bad.
the worst. That's literally the
But
worst.
that's like such an outlier too. Like a lot of new players will just be like afraid of stuff like that happening. But 99% of the time you get shot, it's in its center mass or like your goggles or like your face. So as long as that's covered up, then you're
Yeah.
fine.
Unless you're like me. Unless you're like me and you get shot in the hands every single time you play.
Or you're like me and you get like shot just where my plate carrier ends. That's just
That
great.
happens all the time. It's not only you. Don't worry.
Yeah. Some guy peeked a corner with I think like a Glock or something, and he aimed center mass, but he just missed my plate carrier and got me right in the belly button.
So try Hard Try Innovations removed the message for some reason, but I remember it was how long does a paint job like last, or how long does a paint job take? For me, depending on like, so I like to give my paint a lot of time to cure. I know we're kind of like just really just hard shifting topics here, but I usually give my paint like 6 hours to cure in between coats, unless I'm in a hurry, and then I'll just kind of like not really care, and it'll look really ugly, and I'll do it in like one night. But giving your paint a lot of time to cure, and sanding down in between coats, and after your clear coat, getting rid of that like disgusting orange peel that you get from spray paint, really makes it look nice. So, just as long as you take your time with it and do it right. A lot of people just one coat of spray paint and they're wondering why it's chipping after 5 minutes of use. So as long as you do it right, there's nothing wrong with like using rattle cans. Like I've only used rattle cans and there's absolutely nothing wrong with it as long as you do it right. So all right, sorry for totally derailing, but to answer that.
It's cool.
I do. Oh, can we just move on to guns that shouldn't exist? I really want to do that one.
Yes.
Okay, yeah.
E.g. dual barrel pistols, so that's a good start. Fuck those.
Right. I put those on there because the other day, I came across a dual-barreled Makarov.
What the fuck? Oh wait, I think I saw it on eBay.
I know.
I swear to God, those just exist to
Yeah.
be filler items for a box of awesomeness. I think that's like the only reason. They
Yeah, like
exist.
the AW custom double barrel
With,
high
like the
capas.
skull pattern. Like, oh my God.
Yeah, it's like why?
It's just so
Why?
bad.
Like,
But I mean, like
Here,
I know double barrel 1911s exist in real life.
And those
yeah, they
should
do.
even
Yeah,
exist in
I've
real
seen.
life.
But what did you say?
I saw a review of it. Basically, so this guy was saying, in order for a gun to be broken in, you need to send 1,000 rounds through it. So I'm going to fire this gun 500 times, and 20 shots in, the front sight pops off.
Oh,
Such
Christ's
high
sake.
quality. Yo, Josh, if you want to just screen share over Discord in the meme section, just to have a look at the dual barrel Makarov.
Oh, Christ. Yeah, hold on. Let me just open this up.
Ah, it's so
Can we just,
bad.
like,
Like,
take
you
a
buy a
minute?
Makarov because it's a pocket pistol. It's a
Oh,
pocket
God.
pistol. You buy it
That's-
because it's
why?
small. Now you're
Why?
gonna double its width.
Everybody just left the
What
stream.
the fuck?
Yeah, this is
Yo, the adults dating whatever it
oh
is
my
is
God,
back.
stop.
How
It's
to
the
delete Twitter?
fifth
Delete
one.
yourself, kid.
My God. But seriously, can we just not ever again with this? The Makarov's already shit on its own. Can we, like, nobody wanted this?
I kind of like the Makarov just because it has, not because it's good or anything, just because it has like an aura,
What?
you know?
That must be a British
It's
thing.
like a tiny Russian.
That's
It's like a tiny Russian boy, you know? Well, to be fair, I've grown up with like the James Bond thing where he
Jack the
just
Ruski.
bangs out like a tiny
Alright.
ass piss.
I'm calling a Makarov tiny Russian boy from now on.
Tiny Russian boy. Oh my God.
Thank you for that piece, that golden nugget, Jack. Thank you.
I aim to
God,
please.
what other guns should exist?
Oh, I saw one the other day. So you know when they take a tiny gun and they make it tinier. For example, the ASG CZ Scorpion Evo K.
I think the Evos are okay.
If you haven't,
What do you mean?
no, the Evo
All
K.
right, maybe I just haven't seen this.
Let me see this. You'll post a link to
Probably
it.
haven't. I
Airsoft
think
especially.
it's a custom gun.
That doesn't look
Just
bad.
check that link. Yeah, but it's tiny. They made a tiny gun tinier.
Oh,
I don't
God.
understand
I
why.
actually don't mind that.
I don't mind it either.
Yeah, I don't
Okay.
mind that.
What about airsoft replicas of, for example, Star Wars weapons? Like
I'm fine
kinda
with that.
cool. At least the Han Solo blaster is kind of cool.
Yep.
Yeah, but like
That and then the Luger kit that AW Custom makes.
Now, if we're talking,
Like,
if
I
we
can-
want to
I
go
can
sci-fi
understand.
guns, the Star can fuck right off. I mean, let's.
Oh,
Yo,
yeah,
the Chrono
yeah.
Blaster can
Hey,
fuck
okay,
off.
hold on.
It's
hold
cool
on.
and all.
That has its place. All right, that's cool.
I like to call it the Chroma Blaster.
I think that's cool.
If they made it look like the battle rifle and wasn't the assault rifle, I'd be all for it. But it's the assault rifle, and I
Okay,
don't.
now that you mentioned that,
No.
I would much like if I had the choice, I would much rather have a Halo BR. Yeah, for sure.
BR every day of the week.
A Halo,
Oh my God.
Halo 5 DMR would actually look really sick. Or I know I've said it before, but the Halo 5 SMG in airsoft form would actually be really cool. I'd
Oh.
love to have that.
That would be thick.
Oh yeah.
That or the ODST SMG. What's your guys already making? Did you see that
I think
on
somebody- yeah,
Reddit?
somebody,
I think.
showed that to me a while back.
All right, we're getting way off.
Nah. We've already gone for an hour, so we'll probably just do one more topic and then wrap it up. And then I'm just gonna transfer this into like a chill out stream, since I'll just stop the podcast recording.
All right, question. Okay, real quick, let's go to question 5, if that's okay with y'all.
Hold up.
Oh yeah, good
Yeah.
DIY way. Bleh, that's a tongue twister.
DIY way to make fake plates for your PC.
Okay, because I did this. my
Styrofoam.
plate.
Newspaper.
So what I did was I took those
Yo, what's
sheets
up?
of
Oh, hello.
EVA foam. I took EVA foam, and I kind of drew out the shape of a plate. And you just take your box cutter and cut it out. And then you just take that one piece of foam. That's a perfect plate for your plate carrier.
You know, it's a really perfect plate for a plate carrier.
A plate, probably.
A plate, yes.
AR500.
I saw one dude. Oh, God, I have footage of it. God, I gotta remember what day it was though. I gotta find footage of it. There's a dude that like during lunch break they ordered Domino's and he used 2 Domino's pizza boxes and made like a makeshift plate carrier and used it for the rest of the day, and it was fucking amazing. I gotta
That's
find
great.
that footage.
Really great.
Damn,
I
I
met
wish
an
that were
elitist
me.
one. I met like this Milsim elitist once that was running full gear, like head to toe, covered in like shoulder pads and like thigh pads, and he had one of the plate carriers that has not even a plate carrier, it's like a chest rig that has front plates, back plates, and like side plates, and he was running the actual like real steel plates in each one of them, so they're like an inch thick of like
Well, dude,
AR500 steel.
like, what happens if somebody brought a real gun? Like, who's gonna be laughing then?
We're in the UK.
Exactly. Get AR500
There aren't-
plates, man. That's all you need.
There aren't real guns in the UK. We have shotguns and they can't even pass through.
Uh-huh.
Well, what if
But
somebody like got a permit for a knife? Who's laughing now?
Permit for it.
You don't need permits for a knife.
It's the UK. You need permits for everything.
Yeah, you need permits for your TVs.
You got a permit for that internet?
Yeah, exactly. Go fuck yourself. I don't need a permit for that shit, man.
Yeah, you do.
All right, I think we can
Alright.
wrap this up. As in, I'll just stop the
Alright.
recording
Alright.
and then this stream will continue.
Okay.
So let me do an outro. Yeah. Alright, so thanks everybody for listening to the first return episode of the AFO Airsoft podcast. We'll try to do this as often as possible. It will be streamed on this channel, AFO Maryland, and then the VOD will be posted on Jack's channel, our UK branch, AFO Cambridge. So be sure to sub to him if you haven't already. You can hit the I in the top corner to go to his channel, and he's also linked in the description, so make sure you go sub to him. He'll be posting content as well, just more of like that AFO content you like to see on my channel that I don't post enough of. So thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you in the next one. Ugh.